personal collection of Picasso ceramics was given to the Newark Museum by Lord Richard Attenborough and his wife Shirley.
I've always been interested in art as part of a domestic scene, part of home. I think one of the great tragedies about modern art is that it's done on such an enormous scale that you can only go into galleries. And I want pictures, whether it might be Picasso or whether it be Sutherland or Henry Moore, I want them in my home. I like to have them as part of living, as it were. So I've always been passionately interested in collected paintings. I didn't start collecting ceramics until the 50s, but when we were first married in 45, I started collecting paintings I could afford, English paintings, in other words. So my father, when he was principal of the University College, was chairman of the purchasing committee for the Leicester Galleries in Newark, and so I've always been interested in the arts.
Plans were in place to mount the exhibition in 2005, but sadly during the tsunami of 2004, Lord Attenborough lost both his daughter and granddaughter, forcing the event to be postponed.
If we were going to contemplate giving the collection to anybody, it would be Leicester. The wonderful thing was that when we first discussed it with the council and councillors and directors and so on, 8 years ago, they were as excited at the idea and the prospect as we were. And so it was planned, as I say, quite a number of years ago, and then we had a tragedy in our family in that our daughter and granddaughter lost their lives in the Asian tsunami. And so as a result of that, the gallery very sensitively said, look, you don't want to be involved with exhibitions and so on now. Will you come and tell us when you'd like to reopen the question? So a couple of years ago we said, look, we would like to rediscuss the idea of our leaving this collection in our wills, but we now would like to dedicate it to Jane and Lucy, because Jane adored them, and Jane met Picasso, and so the joy and excitement that they derived from this wonderful collection, we'd like to share it with other people in her name, in their names. So that's what we've done.
The 100-piece collection, which will be at the Newark Museum for the next 3 months, was originally placed in the family home and greatly admired by all. Lord Attenborough has donated his collection in honour of his lost loved ones.
The first piece you see when you come into the gallery of a woman's head is as magical as anything, but I love the big pieces. I love the things that are 2 or 3 feet high, and I love some of the very classical pictures of the bull or woman's head with last wife Jacqueline. There's a plate, took a terracotta plate of just a single line drawing of this most beautiful woman on earth, and I'm in favour of women, and I found him absolutely enchanting. He was so gracious and so amusing, and I think it's to be this close to genius. It's like having to know or come to know Beethoven or something.
I also took this opportunity to talk to leader of Leicester City Council, Ross Wilmot, a long-standing friend of Richard Attenborough, about what the exhibition means to the city of Leicester.
This puts Leicester on the cultural map, along with the developments of the Performing Arts Centre and the replacement for the Phoenix that the council are doing. This puts Leicester, right at the centre of cultural capital for the East Midlands, and I think we'll benefit from tourism, and also schools and children coming. The educational benefits are huge, so I think it's going to be tremendous for Leicester.
Speaking on behalf of the gallery, managing curator Nick Gordons explains what it means to the museum to have such a prestigious collection on display.
It's absolutely amazing. This is one of the best collections of Picasso ceramics in the world, and obviously with Lord Attenborough being a Leicester son and what have you, it's kind of got that double resonance, and it's probably one of the best exhibitions I think I've ever been involved with in 15 years of working in a museum. We're expecting as a minimum 60,000 over the 3.5 months. However, given the level of interest, which has even surprised us, I wouldn't be surprised if we got 80,000 through.
The exhibition will be held at the Newark Museum for the next 3 months and will open to the public on Saturday the 16th of June. With both Richard and Shirley's blessing, the collection in its entirety will eventually find a permanent home here in Leicester at the New Walk Museum.